I was religious, bro.
Yeah. Oh, were you?
Really bad. Like when I got saved.
Yeah, for sure.
I like get rid of everything. Like,
I was the same way.
Telling my friends we can't hang out. Like I was shutting all my friends.
Yeah. I went through that, dude. The first 24 months of my salvation, everybody was going to hell, including me. I was barely gonna make it in if I made it in at all. You know what I mean? Everything was just bad. You know. So I get that. That makes sense. Yeah,
for sure. Sure. Anyway, I lost my place, but
no, you're good. No, you're good.
So after that, I went to just a ministry program, which was Eddie James Ministries. Yeah. That's how I met you.
Yes, sir.
And I served there for 6 years on staff and was a worship pastor there. And I think through that ministry, I started to understand the nature of God, nature of Jesus, and got a lot nicer and a lot less religious. Yeah. Because I'm around these ex-drug addicts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ex-prostitutes. And stuff, like, you know what I mean? So it really changed my perspective, you know what I mean? And I feel like I can give that ministry credit for definitely getting me out of that religious ideas and stuff like that about people and things. And so, yeah, man, I don't know how I ended up here. Yeah. But I think over time, just being obedient, recording songs, like I recorded my first album after I left Eddie James Ministries with $10,000. And I think that led me to, you know, the next thing where I was writing for Travis Green and Crowder and Chris Tomlin and Bethel and Maverick and everything else, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
Bro, so
that's a long story short.
Yeah, long story short, absolutely. What I think is amazing about because a lot of people would just point to when the spotlight goes on. And when you only have context to a person once they're on your radar, you're missing a lot.
Right.
You're missing a lot. And we live in a society that is enamored with the height. I'll just talk about instead of using the elevation and success, I want to deal with height. We're enamored with the height and we never go check foundation. Look how tall the building is.
Right.
Wow, isn't that building amazing? Look how tall it is. Look how bright it is. They got an LED wall on the side of it. And like you can see all the spectacle up here, but nobody sees the foundation.
Right.
And so when you talk about the success you had and the people you write for, and you know, there's a group of people that's always just going to be enamored with, you wrote a song for Chris Tomlin? Which one was it?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You did this with Maverick? Oh my goodness. You did this with, and it's like, I'm enamored with the foundation.
Right.
16?
Right.
Kiara Sheard record?
Yeah.
On repeat?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you get filled with the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
What song was that?
Saved.
We need to get that song out to everybody, right?
Right.
So that's the foundations are important.
Yeah.
Eddie is a good dude.
Yeah.
And his ministry can sober up a legalist.
Yeah.
Right. If you got any legalism in you, you hang out with Eddie James for 30 days.
Yeah,
that'd be
for
about
real.
you.
Yeah. For real, bro. I was ready to leave. I was like, I cannot do this.
Oh my goodness.
It was the best thing for me.
Yeah.
It's the real world.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of times we can get to a certain place, a certain level in God where we feel as though we have reached this this stage where we could be judgment. It's like we get the pass to be judgmental because like I don't curse. You know, I don't drink. I don't do that. You know what I mean? All these different things. So it's like I have the pass to, you know, treat you like crap because, you know what I mean, I've gotten to a certain place in God where I don't, you know, I am the judge at this point. You know what I'm saying? And so I think he just taught me how to leave that to God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And do what I could do. You know what I mean? Just be his hands, be his feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be a light.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's an important thread to where you are now? Like, as you were talking, I'm like, ooh, it's starting to line up for me, right? Because where you are now, you described as a reintroduction. And I would like you to elaborate on that, but I feel like there's a connection thread based on your foundation and the 6 years that you had with Eddie. But can you tell me about the reintroduction as you are experiencing it now? Because it's real time for you.
Yeah.
This is a real time introduction.
Yeah,
It's not like, I'm 18 months into it, and as a result, I have this hindsight and this perspective. So to the best of your ability, would it be difficult for you to tell us what that reintroduction feels like now, what it sounds like now?
Yeah, I mean, once I got into the industry, it was fast for me. It was super fast. Like 3 years of doing it, and I had a Grammy, a #1 in my name, not just with Maverick City, not just with Bethel. I had my own #1s. I had worked with everybody in the genre. I've been, at every label. They offering me deals, and it was really traumatic. It was so traumatic, bro. And I think people look at me and other people like, oh, if you're famous, they put you on this like pedestal, right? And it's like, I'm still like 24, 23 years old. Like, I'm growing up. Like, and it's like you're forced to kind of grow up fast too. Like, you don't have the same, you can't process the same way as a normal 24-year-old would process. You have to do it as Dante Bowe. Like, and I didn't even ask to be like this person that they made me be. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Obviously, God called me, and He graced me for it in a way, but it didn't feel that way, man. It felt traumatic, and so doing all this stuff, going on tours, and like being in a part of the church and being ridiculed every day, comments, because at that point, at that level, you kind of got to expect, everything you say is like, it can be held to,
Yeah.
I feel like everything I said or everything I did, I'm like nervous. I didn't want to post. I didn't want to say this, do this, you know what I mean? So it affected my life in a big way.
Yeah.
And I think me being who I was, a lot of times I didn't have someone to help me through it.
Yeah.
Because I had maybe more than them, or they saw me as whatever the case may be, they saw me as somebody that they look up to, even if they were older than me or like maybe more wise than me, they still wouldn't necessarily offer me an opinion because it's like, your life is fruitful, you know what I mean? And I was just broken, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not even in a, like, just in a sinful way. People are so soulish, and they just think about the sins, or whatever the case may be. But no, it's like I was really like struggling as a young man with this amount of success. Like, my mama, my daddy, everybody reached out to me for money, like cousins and every, I have a staff, and then I have, I got to go over here with Bethel, then I got to go over here with Maverick, and then I got to tour over here. Like, it was a lot of pressure. It was really, really, really scary for me. And I think I'm gonna just fast forward to maybe a few months ago when I decided to just be solo and start my own label and all this stuff. Like, I went on a spiritual journey again. Like, I felt like a new Christian. Like, I felt like a rebirth. I felt like I was like praying more because of the surroundings I have now, but I started praying more and started just like seeking God in a real way, not really like reading the Bible and be real. It wasn't even just, I really wasn't reading the Bible.
Right.
I was really talking to God all the time, and I started enjoying it. And but it took Him, in my opinion, using the whole Maverick thing to push me to like be closer to Him. You know what I mean? I felt like before that, I was just going downhill. I was, you know what I mean? And I think afterwards, I felt as though the Lord gave me a new purpose, a new focus, like never before. And I don't know why no one ever explained it to me like this, but my manager Sabrina did. It's just like she explained to me just how important it is to talk to God through every decision. You know what's crazy? I really didn't feel like God was giving me answers for decisions. Like I just felt like, all right, K-Love called me to do a performance. I'm just gonna do it. Or like if I was going through something bad in my relationship, I'm like, I got the wisdom. Like I'm gonna just make the best decision. I'm not gonna pray about this, but there's always a better decision.
Always.
I sound like I'm a new Christian for real. I'm like, I did not know there was a better decision to be made. And it's not the norm. It's not something that's normal. You know what I mean? It's not what seems wise to men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm learning like through prayer how many miracles I'm experiencing now. Like every day. Like when I listen to Jesus, I do the right thing. Like I'm not even talking about sin. I'm talking about I go the right way. Like even if it's like we were at Paris Fashion Week and they were kicking everybody out of the event, and even Vogue couldn't get into their own event. Some of the Vogue guys couldn't get into it because it was so packed. And I'm like, Jesus, take me to the coolest place. Like I want to be with the coolest people. I started doing that now. I'm like, if this is not even the right atmosphere, just take me to where the cool people are. I want to meet somebody. I want to be inspired. Bro, we leave. Vogue pulls up and we leave with Vogue. They're like, Dante, Seb, y'all come on. Like, and we leave at Vogue and go to a better event on the beach. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But something as simple and small as that, you know what I'm saying? Like just praying to Jesus and being like legit about it and knowing that he's gonna just take you somewhere better. It doesn't have to be this like miracle, you know, like that's like, you know, I had cancer and now I don't. Just your day to day, bro.
Day to day miracles.
Day to day miracles.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro.
And I was a famous Christian. I didn't think I had, like, I'm like, I know what to do.
Right.
Like, I would hear somebody tell me, I would just give me advice immediately. I ain't pray about it. I'm like, I think I know what to do.
Wow.
You never felt like that?
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
But when you really start asking God, you start making the coolest decisions, like the more elevated decisions.
Yeah.
I can forgive my enemies now.
That part.
Like, that's what I mean by reborn.
That
like,
part.
I couldn't forgive my enemies for some, I thought I forgave them, but it's like now I really don't see my enemies in a negative way. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me in and of itself. Like I feel like they're all necessary. I did not feel that way before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
That's real. Like even Jesus just being elevated, like making more elevated decisions. Like, you know, I used to try, anyway, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff I'm learning, and it sounds like elementary school stuff, but it's like, that's just where I am. I'm like, I'm back at my foundation. I'm back like trying to figure him out, and like, not that I can, but I'm saying like just his nature, how he is, how elevated he was, how nice and kind he was, like in a real way. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm there now. That's where I am. I'm happy. And I was never happy.
Interesting.
I was never happy. If you met me when I was on tour or something like that, at the top of my career, I was not that happy. Why? Because I worked a lot and I was working without communion. Like I was really in my own flesh. Like I can like in my mind I can go back to it. Like I really, like my flesh is obviously, our flesh is weak. Like I was really doing it in my own strength. Like I was just fleshy. You know what I'm saying? And it was tiring me out. And I'm just thinking it's everybody else's fault. Everybody else is doing this and doing that, you know. And there was like, obviously there's negativity around you a little bit. It's the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But man, I was so tired. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like, you know, I was being elevated by Jesus, but I wasn't like, my life wasn't elevated. My personal life was not elevated. But my professional life, I'm like some superstar to somebody. You know what I mean? It was crazy for me, and I was just unhappy. I wanted out of it. I started hating making music. I started hating Christians because of all the comments. Like I couldn't even go to church. I stopped going to church because I didn't want to see Christians. Because they were, you know, they were the ones talking crap to me on the internet.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now it doesn't bother me for some reason. Like I pray, I really do love the Lord. And now I see how elevated he was. It wasn't even about him giving us rules to just give us rules. He was just trying to teach us how to be the classiest, like like the more elevated versions of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like him inviting Judas to the dinner and Judas kissing him, and then like he's, you know, and he knows he's like somebody's gonna betray me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
yeah.
He knew what it was, but it's like I'm not pressed like that.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to look pressed.
Yeah.
I used to be so pressed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the coolest thing to do?
Yeah.
Just to do whatever Jesus did. He was so cool. He was so unbothered.
Yeah.
He looked cool, bro.
Yeah.
That's why sinners liked him. And Christians think they would have been in this part of his 12. He wouldn't have been. He chose wisely. Like he chose the coolest people, bro. The fishermen, the tax collector. He's like, I want the real. I want the dirtiest.
Yeah.
I want the coolest people in the town to be a part of my crew.
Yeah.
Like half these Christians would not even been in this crew.
Right.
Definitely would have been a part of the 3. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, bro.
I'm trying to be like on Jesus' level. Like I want to be in the crew.
Yeah. Everybody that Jesus chose, I would say the majority of the people Jesus chose was at work.
Yeah.
They weren't reading. They weren't reading the Torah.
No.
They weren't in the synagogues. The majority of Jesus' crew were people that were at their job, grown men at their jobs, and they quit. They quit working for their dads and for the government to go follow this dude. That's who he went to go choose. That's, bro, you said a lot just now.
I'm born
man.
again. That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm learning again. I'm learning again. I'm growing again.
It sounds like a reset.
It is a reset. It is a reset.
Yeah.
Like my life has changed.
Yeah.
For real. And it's not because of my music career.
Yeah, for sure.
Before the change was just that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
All right, so I see everything in pictures, right? So I just watched everything you said, and I'm like, I'm bugging out on a few things. Let's slow down real quick.
Yeah.
All right, let's deal with the anatomy. If we were to call Dante Bowe's career a body of work, right? Let's do an autopsy, right? On the death of what was, for the rebirth, right? For the born again nature of what is. Can you just imagine, I'm talking to the dwellers, can you imagine being 16 years old? I just want you to imagine real quick. You're 16 years old. You're in your room. You have an encounter with Jesus. And 8 years later, not 18, not 28 years later.
Wow. Never thought about that.
Not after 30 years of grinding and climbing. I want you to imagine 8 years, 2 presidential terms. 8 years, less than a decade. I want you to imagine at 16 you have an encounter with God, and 8 years later, everyone knows your name. 8 years later. Now, this 8-year swing is not 30 to 38. It's not 40 to 48. Where psychology says your brain has fully formed and your frontal lobe is firm and you can make those sound decisions, right? Because there's a psychological aspect to that too. I want you to imagine from 16 to 24. Everything you ever dreamed of came to pass. I want you to think about all the stuff you have in your prayer journal right now. Every prophetic word that's been spoken over you and that you're breathing over, and there's tear-stained pages of you going, God, bring this to pass. I want you to imagine the next 8 years, everything you thought you ever wanted happened.
That's crazy.
There's a reason why it's significant to me, Dante, because when people don't empathize, they can't contextualize. See, a lot of this judgment is simply, judgmentalism is lazy to me. You're lazy. Yeah. I think judgmental people are absolutely lazy, because the only thing required is for them to slip their feet into the other person's shoes.
Wow.
We didn't ask you to buy their shoes. We didn't ask you to wear their shoes around for a month. Can you just put your feet in their shoes and just, that's what that would feel like? Like, you're lazy and you have no imagination. Like, judgmental people are lazy and have no imagination. Like, how can you not put yourself in that person's position? If I'm 16, because I remember me at 16. If I'm 16 and everything came to pass for me at 24 years old, child, please. I'd have had 4 children out of wedlock. Christ or no Christ.
Right.
I'm telling you right now. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If Tim Ross, because I gave my life to Jesus at 20 years old. If I'd have gave my life to Jesus at 16 and everything I ever thought I wanted came to pass by the time I was 24, I'd have 4 baby mamas.
Wow.
So I'm just thanking God for the grace that he didn't give me everything I wanted.
Right.
In 8 years. But you made a statement that just literally made all my curls come out. And that is, and you didn't say these 3 words, but this is my synthesization. Success is traumatic.